Hey everyone, Internet PCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about Bridge by Laura Burgess. Laura Burgess is the author of Shining Girls, which have been adapted to Apple TV. I haven't read Shining Girls or watched the miniseries, but I heard it's about reality shifting or what is now more known as multiverse. And I like multiverse kind of story if it's done well, so since I was looking for a book to cover anyway for the channel, I took the book. The story of the book itself started in April 2006. We got Bridge, the main character backstory here. She was raised by mostly her mother and she used to go to the lab where her mother works. She also had fragmented memory of letting rats escape from the lab, which resulted in her mother getting into trouble with her boss and with Bridge's father, which led to her and her mother escaping from home to her mother's friend Mina, which leads to even more fragmented memory about Mina's dead mommy and how her mother needed desperately. And with those childhood memory over, we go to the actual story when Bridge is now a failed college student, having to go to her mother's house because she's dead. Bridge is accompanied with her friend Dom to go to the house as part of her grieving process, or at least trying to grieve by going through her mom's possession in the house. She's not ready for this, acknowledging the dead, making a peace offering. That is pretty fucking real, it turns out. A whole set of realities, all uniquely awful, and all the infuriating bureaucracy that comes after. Sad men don't cause it. The book target's audience at this point is already very clear with the writing young adult. It even has sad men on it. The conversation just between Bridge and Dom already is very scripted with tons of quirky one-liners exchanging. The author even makes Dom into that quirky character who brings random object with them all the time. This time it's label printer. Whether you like the characters or not, the plot still goes on. Once the two got into the house, it's already clear that they're not the first visitor to the house. The house is trash. People has already gone through the house flipping table and other furniture in the process of clearing the house. They even took her mom's laptop, except for one that is buried under a pile of student papers that the burglar conveniently left out. And more than that, the burglar also conveniently left behind leftover food that contains something that Bridge coined as the dream worm. Something that opens door to other worlds, she said. And before Tom can ask more questions, she swallowed the dream worm. Of course, at first nothing happened after that. Bridge even wants to take Tom into using the substance so they can go on a trip to another world. How the other used trip as a euphemism for taking hallucinogen and trip for going to another world I think is a nice touch. The book will go on to add more names. A lot more names in Bridge and Tom's journey with the dream world. But other than a few of praises that I've given it, everything else is downhill after that in the story. First thing first, the story progression honestly doesn't make much sense. It keeps a changing point of view not only from Bridge and Dom but also to various other characters that are either Bridge and Dom's other version of themselves. In other words, the concept of the story itself I think is great if it's well done. It could be like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where we can see the character living other people's life because of the different choices that they make. But unfortunately for this book, Everything Everywhere All at Once is not only a well-written concept, but also a well-written story. The characters there felt real despite the ridiculousness of the characters gone through, including a raccoon parody of Ratatouille, Spaghetti Hand, and Living Rock. Here, the other worst version of the characters felt more like distraction to make the story stretch longer. The book also have that common problem where version of teenager on the book felt like the author's own fantasy of what teenagers behave like. They really felt like the kind of characters that is written for TV shows. They're saying things like sober as a church mouse, which instead of making them sound like people in college, it only makes them feel like having a scripted conversation. And it's not just the main character that talks like this. On a flashback to the past, Bridge called what I think is her stepmom as the not mom, and the stepmother calls Bridge Budgeriger, which is apparently a type of bird, but who the hell calls someone with a rarely used bird species name? Not even bird watcher or bird biologists call other people that. If it's just one or two characters that are quirky like that in the way they talk, I think it's fine. But when basically every character, including the minor one, talks like that, it's hard to see them as actual people. They felt more like social media posts rather than people, if that makes sense. What makes it worse is that Budgeriger and the slight twist of the name Bridge, which becomes Budgie, is the hint that it's Bridge but in another world. It feels so forced, especially since both Budgeriger doesn't come out naturally in the story. The first one is from a flashback, and the second one is some random talk that so happened to contain the Budgeriger in the name. There's also a ton of real social issues that are sprinkled here and there in the story, but they're more of a throwaway single liners that don't really add anything to the story. And because they're irrelevant to the story, if anything, they feel more dismissive toward these issues rather than raising awareness or educational. It felt more like the author going, I wonder what else will get the attention of youth these days. Maybe I'll just add those. And then put them in since words are cheap and cost nothing. Misgendering, young people care about those, right? Let's add one single line mentioning it. It felt a bit too much like Elite Capture, which only makes the story believability dips even lower. A lot of things feels like they are added just so the reader can go, hey, I recognize that. True crime is viral, right? Let's add some random line about true crime then. Add Ted Bundy reference while I'm at it. People know Mandela effect, right? That sounds cool. Let's also put that in. And worse for the story, there's so much plot convenience that either feels too close to a plot hole or are actual plot holes, even if you see them in the context of the story. The character also lacks variety. Bridge and Dom, the two main characters, or at least the two people who had the most screen time as the point of view characters, are too similar. It feels like the only difference between them is that Dom is a non-binary that always brings their label printer. The story also relies too much on flashback, and it makes the story a lot more convoluted since there's already the changing perspective between Bridge and Dom every chapter or so, and also the world shift that also changed the character perspective to the other world version of them. And then there's the author also put flashback into the mix, which only makes the storytelling a bit too much. Let's change perspective to Dom and have their flashback to the past when they meet Bridge. Let's switch to Bridge other world person. Let's switch again to Bridge's perspective in her real life. Let's have a flashback about Bridge's past and hint about her relationship with her father. Then as if that's not enough, the author also added more characters. Now we have Amber. Amber is a YouTuber or a TikToker or whatever who made a compilation of weirdest in the week with lots of weird commenters that I honestly think where the author learned to write the character dialogues, social media. And then every time we did all this switcheroo, there's exposition dump about the lore and backstories of these characters, who they are, what food they like, what types of drink they want, their parents, their grandparents, their job, their lineage. Is that not enough? Let's add Bridge Monterey and also some random email from friends and families in the mix. It costs too much switching between characters' perspective, and as a result, there's also too much expository dialogue. I think about 30 to 40% of the book is just exposition. Here's an example from our first switch to Amber's perspective. She went to Parkside Church Hall in Charleston to go to Thomasian support group where all is welcome, to meet Looney, whose problem is about going to have a new grandchild. And then the exposition continue not just Amber, but also to Looney, where he's telling a story about genetic susceptibility, about Diane, his daughter, and about Johnny, that is his grandson. And then since this is a group therapy world, which is not explained despite the story over-explaining everything, there's Martha, Mark, Knox, Mr. Flufto, who by the way everybody like. Then the book explained her channel and the commenters, then the journalist that came from Fresno in 2019, then a TikTok person. By the way, you somehow miss it. Before she's on her channel, she also used to work as a police, but she retired after Chris died. Who's Chris? I have no idea. I think it's her partner, but the book forget to over-explain that one. And in general, that's how the storytelling and the character goes in this book. If something is not over-explained, it will be over-explained later and most likely in a flashback. None of the character got fleshed out because we're changing character too fast, and the things we know about them we know from exposition dialogue, which doesn't really tell us much about the personality of each character have. That's why everyone in this story feels like everyone else in the story because the surface level that the book over-explained. This book is such a mess. It has some interesting concept. The drug used to travel between the world and its addiction reminds me of Talk to Me. And the travel to other worlds, as I said multiple times, reminds me of Everything Everywhere All at Once. But somehow, the combination of the two of the best recent movies become this mess. It's almost as if there's a deliberate attempt at making a really badly written version of them. I give this a 0.75. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.